Hi, happy Veterans Day to all those that are serving and those that have served and the family members that served with them. Just want to wish you guys a happy Veterans Day. Hope your day is going great. Hope you're having a great time out there barbecuing, spending time with family, and if you got the day off, taking advantage of it. I just want to go over something that's been in social media and the media kind of for the last like week or two. On October 29th, there was a VA hearing about VA benefits, mostly the disability benefits, the money that veterans get that are claimed disability. And that was due to the part of articles being published about fraud in the disability system, mostly from, if I get this right, the Washington Post and other entities that decided to write on the fraud that's possibly going on in there. Now, some of you guys might have heard about it. You might have seen clips about it. You probably have your opinion about the situation. But I'm going to go ahead and share what I feel about it and what I see about it. And I want your opinion too. I want to keep this open and talk about this because I think this is I see this a little bit different than what I'm hearing on there. I don't entirely agree with everything that's going on, but the timing is where I have a problem with, and I'll explain that at the end. But beforehand, if you want to hear the whole hearing right here, it's on this website right here. It will be posted if you can't see it on the screen, so that way if you want to click on it and watch the whole agenda, it's about 2 hours long. Most of it's just little speeches that these guys and these females give about how great they're doing, how everything's great and going. Also, if you want to read their testimonies, you could see there, you could download the files from there and read it if you rather see if you miss something, because sometimes we can read something and get some information than what we hear. Here's all the testimonies right here. As you can see, the main testimony that people are broadcasting or pointing out is from Daniel M. Gade. I hope I'm saying his name right, PhD. He's a retired lieutenant colonel of the U.S. Army. You can download his files, see where he's coming from, his point of view, and so forth. So this is a good, if you really want to dissect it, you can go in there and watch the whole 2 hours. Also, right here is his Wikipedia. I don't know, Daniel Grade, if you want to see who he is, where's the education, where he's getting his point of view across. He is a disabled veteran, so he's not just someone off the street making these allegations that have not that basically never served. Okay, and then right here, what the video I'm going to share with you, so we don't go over the whole thing. I'm not going to even go over the 23 minutes here. Is I want you to hear Daniel, and I want you to hear this gentleman's point of view right here. If you want this video, we'll go ahead and put that up there too. I recommend listening to different points of view. You can see on the right-hand side, there's other videos you can look at, but this is from the, I hope I'm saying right, the Civic Div right here. So we're gonna go ahead, I'm gonna make this screen fuller, and we're gonna go ahead and start listening to it and listen to what his comments are.
Other than to help restore the lives and dignity of millions of veterans. For too long, you've been told that the best way to care for veterans is to shovel billions of taxpayer dollars into their pockets. This approach has resulted in a veteran class that is sicker, more marginally employed, and more suicidal than ever. By paying veterans to be sick, we create more sick veterans, separated from meaningful lives of purpose, and we deepen our suicide crisis. I developed this perspective through hard experience and long study. I was wounded in combat twice, losing my right leg and spending a year at Walter Reed. After recovery, I earned a master's degree and joined the White House Domestic Policy Council, where my previously acquired user-level experience was bolstered by my work alongside both the Joel Shalala Commission and the Scott Commission. I later completed a PhD in public policy focused on the VA claims process, and while teaching at West Point, co-led the Independence Project, a randomized control trial demonstrating the powerful link between employment and health. In 2021, I published Wounding Warriors, How Bad Policy is Making Veterans Sicker and Poorer, and recently served 2 years as Virginia's Commissioner of Veteran Services. The surge in disability claims is not due to combat injuries, but to a culture that rewards illness. Last year alone, over 450,000 new compensation recipients entered the system, while total combat wounded from the global war on terror number around 50,000. Last year, more than 270,000 veterans began receiving compensation for tinnitus, which is 100 times the number of GWAT amputees over a 20-year period. Blessedly high survival rates from combat wounds are not the cause of the growth. This lie allows advocates to tuck every veteran disability claim under a cloak of virtue. Instead, the avalanche of claims is driven by nonprofits and pay-to-play claims companies that encourage veterans to selectively exaggerate or falsify symptoms to, quote, grab all they can, end quote. Aging, genetic, and lifestyle conditions are increasingly labeled service-connected, resulting in tens or hundreds of thousands of veterans rated as 100% disabled who have no true incapacity or whose incapacity would have eventuated regardless of service status. I propose two principles of reform. One, meaningful employment is powerful medicine. The 2020 paper called employment a, quote, critical mental health intervention. Unfortunately, veteran participation in the labor market, especially among men in prime working years, is markedly lower than their civilian counterparts and has been steadily declining over the past 20 years. Disability compensation discourages work by rewarding inactivity. Some programs, like IU, create a direct barrier to work. Any separation from the labor force causes isolation, malaise, and reduced income, coupled with a demand for ever higher disability payments. We should shift dollars from paying veterans to be sick towards meaningful incentives for gaining and maintaining productive employment. Early positive incentives can have a long-lasting positive effect, as demonstrated by the Independence Project. Two, disability compensation is a destructive goal. Disability is a negative word. In Latin, dis means not, opposite of, or apart. The disability compensation system pulls veterans into a destructive identity as, quote, disabled veteran, rather than helping create a positive, forward-looking life and career. This system is anti-thriving, anti-productivity, and ultimately anti-veteran. Further, it discourages future generations serving by painting veterans as a troubled problem class. The compensation system traps veterans into a disability identity, teaching them to chase 100% rating as a proof of honor or source of validation. 9 of the top 10 conditions for newly rated veterans are easily exaggerated or totally unverifiable. We need a system that affirms veterans' capacity to thrive, not their presumed fragility. Here are several steps that would protect the integrity of the system. 1, treat but do not compensate for non-disabling conditions and eliminate conditions caused by genetics, aging, or lifestyle from the compensation rolls. Sleep apnea is one obvious example. There are hundreds of others. 2, require active treatment for compensated mental health conditions. If compensation is warranted, so is care. 3, extend VA medical eligibility to all service-connected conditions without tying it to disability ratings, removing an incentive for false claims. The current disability system robs veterans of purpose and dignity, trapping them in idleness and despair. Further, the isolation brought on by separation from the labor market can and does send many veterans into a morass of tragic consequences. Reform will be difficult. Entrenched interests protect the status quo, but it is essential. A close look at past changes shows that what survives the legislative and rulemaking process are usually additions to existing programs or the creation of new programs. The VA budget grows inexorably despite the system causing immense ongoing harm. Deep structural reform will save lives and restore what veterans truly need: meaning, work, and hope. And to Senator Tuberville, I say, War Eagle.
Okay, I can spend an hour talking about what he just said, but the basis of his argument is that combat veterans matter, everyone else doesn't. That's why he compared tinnitus to how many GWAT amputees there are. He's saying there's about 50,000 combat veterans, and everyone else pushed to the wayside. They don't matter. In fact, the way he twisted it is like we are feeding off of the federal government and being moochers and leeches. All right. Most notably, he did say that 9 out of the top 10 disabilities are being exaggerated and not verifiable. On what data? Lower back, your spine, your lower spine.
All right, so he goes on and talks about the different things like on what data and so forth. So if you're interested, like I said, watch that video. So you got to hear Mr. Daniel or Dr. Daniel explain what he believes the problem is with the disability rating and the pension. That he's saying that basically just by paying people, it's actually hurting them than helping them. So that, and I don't know, the guy that's sharing the video, he's saying that the guy's like washing everybody out. Basically, if you're not a combat vet, you don't matter. I didn't pick that up. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I didn't hear something. I think he's going after people that are he's claiming they're making false claim or exaggerating their claims. He's just using the number like, look, we only have 50,000 throughout the whole wars, 50,000 disabled or soldiers or Marines or servicemen that got hurt. But look, in the 1 year, we got 200,000 claims of tendonitis or so forth. Of course, I might be getting some of the numbers wrong, but that's what I heard. He's just comparing, like, look, we only got all these people hurt, but this many people are claiming disability. So I think that's his point right there. I don't think he's trying to be like, hey, you're not a combat vet on this scenario right here. Forget you. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and play the next part where Mr. Daniel or Dr. Daniel talks about the disability, and let's see what you think about that.
When I went through the disability, or when I went through the transition assistance program when I was leaving the military, we spent about half a day on employment stuff and about a day and a half on how to file disability claims. And the proverbial little lady in tennis shoes stood up there and said, claim everything you can. It's free money. All you got to do is go get it. And if you have these conditions, you get this. But if you look at the DBQ carefully, and she like stomped on the floor and said, if you look at the DBQ carefully, you can see that if you have these conditions, you can get to 70%. And if you have these conditions, you can get to 100%. And so it was right there in front of people that all you have to do is exaggerate and you can get paid more. That's not actually my main problem. My main problem is what happens then. Because if a veteran is separated from the labor market, they don't work anymore. They're sitting at home, they're sitting on the couch, their wife is going to work if it's a male veteran, the children are going to school. And what happens when those people come back home is the veteran is still sitting there. And that's a life of disempowerment, not empowerment. And men get so much identity from their work that we ought to be putting all of our effort into positive, meaningful, gainful employment, and get away from saying to everybody, hey, get everything you can from the government. All you got to do is fill out this little form and we'll give you disability payments. Thank you.
So you've heard it, folks. All you have to do is use specific words. You don't need medical evidence, right? You don't need a current chronic diagnosis. You don't need a clinical diagnosis. You don't need symptoms. You don't need treatment. You don't need healthcare. You don't need anything. All you have to do to get rated by the VA, not to mention be rated at 100%, is just use certain words and claim certain disabilities. Apparently, VA disability is so easy that all you have to do is fill out a little form, and bada bing, bada boom, you're going to be collecting money for the rest of your life.
All right. So you heard right there. That guy Mr. Dr. Daniel had a different experience than what I had. So of course I got out in 2012 of active duty. He got out in 2017. Things change, and we talk about how the military, I feel like the military is a lot more easier right now than it was when I served. And of course, if you talk to a Vietnam vet, they say, well, you had a lot easier than what we had it. But with that said, when I got out, I just remember trying to clear everything, turn in my gear, get this sign off this so I can get out, right? I don't remember anyone going over disability, how to claim it, where to go, or nothing. I just remember maybe a half a day, if that, I had to go to get signed off, that I know how to do a resume. They want to make sure I had a resume together that I could put out there and possibly and get employment. That's all I remember. I don't remember any disability training on what to get. I don't even know what that DVD code is. So I have no clue. Like I can't relate to what he's saying in that. Now, it doesn't mean it's not happening. I can't relate to my incident with or how I got my disability rating. My father-in-law said I need to go, and I went to the DAV. They helped me out, fill out the paperwork. No one ever coached me during filling out the paperwork on what will give me more or less or what I should claim or not. They just asked me questions about my service. Did I feel any pain? Did I ever go a sick call or get treatment for any other reasons besides getting out of work? Did I have lower back pain? Did I have knee pain? Did I have, ringing in the ears? So they just asked me questions and I answer it. They helped me fill out the paperwork. When I went to the doctors, after that, I believe I had like 3 or 4 appointments of different doctors to evaluate me and see where I'm at. I don't remember anyone coaching me, anyone there either. Just like, okay, same thing, ask me questions. So you had lower back pain when, blah, blah, blah. Okay, can you do me some tests for me? Kind of like what we went through MAPS, those tests where you walk like a duck if you can, and so forth. And then about 3 to 6 months later, give and take, I got my rating. That's that's all I remember. I don't remember any coaching or anything like that. So I don't know. I'm not saying it's not going on out there. I'm not saying, he probably had a different experience, but I just did not have that experience. So that was surprising to hear that. So I'm going to finish up just sharing the last part. Basically, he's going to go over what he believes what we should do with the extra $20 billion if we decide to take away some of the disability ratings from veterans.
It gets way worse. Okay, let's keep on listening.
Alternatives to how the disability system is currently structured, and this is open to anybody. I mean, how can we better structure this so that after our veterans leave, take the uniform off, we're incentivizing them to find new careers and succeed in those careers, but still recognizing they have conditions they have to live with.
Listen,
Sir, if I may really quick, the way that we talk about disability is different than any other program talks about disability. The bar is much lower, the conditions are much broader. And I'm not making this proposal necessarily, but if we were to take the people 60% and below in 2024 annual benefits report, and we were to say, you know what, those are conditions that we're going to treat for, but we're not going to compensate for those because they're not a disability by any other definition of the word. What you would do is you would save $20 billion a year that you could then put towards meaningful job programs. You could put towards internships and externships and education and even higher benefits for the triple amputee and the person with a traumatic brain injury. There's a way to do this that's smart and that incentivizes the right things. And that's what I'm just begging folks to focus on.
but he's begging folks. Begging it. You heard it here. If you're 60% and below, your VA disability compensation is going to be deleted under this not proposal necessarily, under that viewpoint.
So my issue with this now, I recommend if you're interested or you have a peeve with it, watch that guy that I just shared or watch the whole thing. Is that okay? Let's say there's mass fraud out there and these veterans are getting benefits that let's say they don't need or they're stretching, instead of maybe they only deserve $800 a month, but they're getting 2,000. And maybe he's right. Maybe if they come up with these, maybe it's better to subtract money from veterans that they're getting for the disability and was put in programs that would help them. All right. What programs? When has the VA really? I mean, there's incidents where the VA has helped veterans, but in overall, I mean, does the VA have a A+ rating? Do these benefits really get soldiers going? I did do the education benefit. It was beneficial for me. What I've heard is most veterans drop out. They don't even finish the degree, or the degree they get, if they do go for it, doesn't really mount to anything. It doesn't help them move on and get a better job, a career. I would love to see the statistics on that than what I hear or what I believe. But it did help me. Okay, so but I'm maybe one of the few, or maybe there's a lot out there. You can comment on this and let me know. But so you're going to take money from veterans. Okay, I served, I got out, I got hurt in some way, some form. I get money for that now because I served my country. Now you're going to take away and put in these programs. Well, we got to be careful with that, right? Because right now, as we're doing this video, we're hoping to come out of today on Veterans Day, the House has to vote for us to come out of a government shutdown. So right now, are you able to go get your VA benefits? If you need to be checked up by a doctor from VA, are you allowed to? Let me know, because I stay far away from the VA as possible. But are you? I heard it shut down. You can't go see a doctor. So if you're trying to get yourself better from lower back pain or whatever it is you're getting disability, because he says you can get the treatment, get out of it, get better and be much more proficient and not have it no more or be able to live with it or whatever it is. If there's a government shutdown, can the veteran go get the treatment? Also, there's gonna be a lot of fraud if they do that too, you know? So it's like, are you really helping make the system better? You might be 100% right, Dr. Daniel, 100% right. But is this system that you are pleading with the committee is any better? Or is that money gonna go to other people, other entities have nothing to do with serving or never served, and they're getting paid for what the veteran did overseas or did while they serve? Thank you. I just want to hear your comments. If you want to share anything, maybe I missed something. I think this is a very good, I'm not going to say debate, but very good thing to watch, because you might say, well, I'm a combat vet, or you might agree with it, like he's only attacking people that are not combat vets. But usually if they take some money from them, they're going to start taking more and more and more. So, and before I end this video, I just want to point out what irritates me is, like I said before, we're in a shutdown. Why are these congressmen and women up there talking about veterans issues? Shouldn't they be out there helping this lockdown be lifted, this government shutdown be lifted, and help people that are working for the federal government to get paid? Right now, as I know, the military is still getting paid, but if this shutdown continues, are they going to get paid when on the 15th or the first when they're supposed to get paid again? So, I mean, there's active duty members probably right now wondering if they're going to get paid in a couple weeks or not. So I think there's more issues right now than worrying about if some veterans are frauding the system. Thank you.
Okay, before you go anywhere, I got to tell you about something. I mean, I already have this, and anytime you have something good, you want to share with somebody else. But there is a special going on with it. I'm sure you want to feel secure when you're at home or even in your office. And all of these things are connected to where you can control things from a distance. I know by now you probably figured out what I'm talking about. An alarm system that has everything on it, okay? Right now, Vivint has until November 15th, 2025. So if you're seeing this in the year 3000, I'm still fabulous, but the sale will be off, okay? So right now until November 15th, Vivint has an awesome promotion going on. And if you get 2 cameras and have them installed by December 15th, you will get 6 months of free service. What? Thank you. Especially with the holidays just around the corner, this is a great time to save money, an excellent time to save money. And with the way things are going right now, you need to save money. Everybody needs to save money. All right, how do you do it? Just call 877-571-6139. That's 877-571-6139. And use the solution number below, okay? That number right there. All right, use that number. So it's 877-571-6139. Make sure you call today.